Rich from 2RC Productions here, and I'm gonna do a little project this weekend here. I got a bunch of other stuff to do outside, a bunch of honeydew stuff, but in between that, since I have my garage cleared out, I'm gonna work on another project. And one of the things that I've been kind of wanting to do for my SCX10 is put some steering links on it, and not so much for the performance aspect of it, because I have really had no issues with the stock setup at all. And I'm not a hardcore crawler. I mean, I use this as a trail truck, occasional rocks, but no big deal. So I am going to fabricate my own steering links first, and then probably the lower links. And I saw guys buying these. They come in kits. They're aluminum, and they're like 75, 80 bucks or whatever, maybe more, to buy all these links and the steering. And to me, that's absolutely insane. Luckily, I have fabricating abilities and access to scrap material and whatnot. And I have a little piece of stainless steel 1/4 inch round bar that I'm going to be using for this project. Everybody uses aluminum. I'm using stainless. Stainless, I'll polish it up. It won't scratch, it won't scuff, it won't turn over time. It'll look just like this forever. It's a little harder to work with. Stainless is harder to drill than aluminum, obviously. Aluminum is extremely soft. So I'm going to do everything with basic hand tools, a cutting wheel, grinder with a sanding disc, and a drill, twist drills, and basically work the steel, cut it, bend it. I'm going to bend it in my vise. I'm just going to do everything by hand. But I'm going to replace the links that go up front. And the first part of it, got them in my hand here, the first part I'm going to work on is these two pieces here. So I'm going to put those bends in there. I'm going to drill these out. Alright guys, what we're going to do is we're going to get going with the 1/4 inch round bar here. Here's the first link. Excuse the garage here. It's an absolute mess. I haven't had this side cleared out in a while. Got the cars pulled out and everything. So I have to get that bend. I have to get that bend with this bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this primitive light. Since I don't have a brake or anything, I don't have a brake at home. So I'm going to bite off a little bit here, and I'm going to go a little bit long so it gives me something to bend. I'm just going to clamp it right in the vise, like so. And then I'm going to grab this and I'm going to start to bend it. Just like that. And what I'll do is take the link and hold it up to the top here. And I got to go a little bit more. And I'm grabbing it close so I don't get a real wide radius, but this stuff you can bend pretty easy. Like at work we got parts benders. That's it, angles right there. We got parts benders at work that make it a lot easier. See, there's my angle, okay? And it's long. There's the angle. If I hold my piece up to it, you're right there. So what I'll do is I'll stick this back in the vise here. And I gotta get through here with the camera in place. Stick this in the vise. Cut some off over here and then come back into my mark and bend it so I got a little bit to work with. And I'm going to take a porta band saw and just whack this in any area right here. So I got to get the overall length of this piece, and I'm just going to match it up. Yeah, I like the angle looks good. Mark that piece, and I'm bending it, so I'm going to guesstimate my overall radius here, which if you do it for a while you can figure that out. So I'm going to say I'm going to bend right about here. That's where I'm going to make my bend on the radius. Stick it back in the vise. It's going to be harder now, so I'm going to bend from the other direction. So I'll clamp right on my mark there. Bring the mark all the way around so I can see it better. Okay, stick it in the vise. And again, this is extremely primitive. At work I have the benders, the parts benders, and you can do a real nice job. So basically what you got to do is anytime you bend something, you got to make sure it's level. Otherwise when you go to bend the other side, it'll be crooked. I'm going to try to just do this by hand. Yeah, it's not bad. Try to hold it level. Put your arc in there.
I'm right on the radius mark. It's looking pretty good. I gotta bend it a little bit more. A little tweak. And I'm right on my mark. I like it. I like it. I like it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark my ends. If you can see that, but I got it marked out on the radius. I'm gonna mark my 2 ends for the overall length. And it could stick out it could be a little bit. Let's see there. Okay, now stick it back in the vise. Open it up in the vise. Take the porta band, cut on my mark right to the outside of my mark. Side. Go around to the other side. Clamp the device. That side. I like it. It's right there for those of you who can't see. There's the back side. See, it lines up right where it needs to be. Now I got to clean up the ends and round everything off. That's that piece. Now, for the other small link, we got a little tiny link here. All I got to do with that is just cut a straight piece from end to end, and then I got to drill it and stuff. All right, now what I'm going to do is just put my gloves on here. Gloves and safety glasses all the time when you're working with steel and stuff. When you're grinding and cutting, maybe even a face shield, a lot of applications. A lot of guys, I see guys cutting with no glasses and no gloves and no nothing on, and you're asking for trouble. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stainless link here and I'm going to sand it up real nice, make a nice edge on it. Alright, give you a view of the one link here. Got the one link all set. So basically what I did was flatten it out a little bit with the grinder on the ends, on both ends. And then I took and drilled, stepped them up a couple times to fit the shoulder bolt through there. I'm not going to use up bushings because there's just not enough material without the flare on it. So they're hardened bolts, so I'm going to use those shoulder bolts. I'll put a little grease in there. We'll see how that works. And I had to drill the other hole in the center for the other linkage that's coming down. So it only took, I got maybe 20 minutes or something. I've been working on it, got it all bent, polished. That's basically the piece. So here's the other piece for the starting out with the stack like that, and I'll have to make it into this piece with one of the holes going that way and one of the holes going the other way. So that'll be a little bit tricky, but I'm going to work on that right now, and I'll come back and give you an on shot. Okay, so what we got here is took that piece, did the rough sanding with the grinder to put the flat on it. Same thing with that. And that's opposite sides, right and left, and it's working out 1 3/4 centers, which is about center of the flat, what I got. So now I'm going to stick it back in the vise. Take the drill with my pilot bit, and I'm going to go right in the center of the piece. This is kind of tedious. Stainless is kind of tough to drill. I got me right in the center. Get it started. Sometimes you walk a little bit, you got to get it back on center line. There we go. Now I got it started. I'll hold the drill level. Stainless, a lot of pressure, slow speed. You go too fast at speed, not enough pressure, and you'll instantly burn your bit out. See that nice curl coming off? I don't know if you can see that. Oop, chuck slipped a little bit. That's it, one hole drilled. Give you a view of that. Worked out pretty nice right in the center there. If you can see that, hopefully you can. Put it in the other side, and I'm going to get my hole on the other side. Doing the same process. Just got to take your time. Watch how the bit's starting, because it'll walk, and you can straighten it. If you start to walk off, you can correct it before it's too late. So just give a little bit of trigger until you know you're cutting. You can walk a tiny bit there. But you see that curl coming off, where you know you're cutting. There, now I can straighten it out. It's pretty good. I'll be that way a little bit too. I'm a little bit off to the right there, or the left there. So before you get too far, you can correct that. Once you get too far into it, you're done. You gotta live with what you got. All right, so see the nice curl coming off? That means it's a nice sharp bit. All right, that looks good too. Now, what I've been doing, instead of doing a series of pilot bits, is I did my step drill. Where is my, here it is. Step drill or uni bit has a series of sizes all in one. And these things are absolutely fantastic. But to get a good one, what do I got? I got Unibit brand, which is good, and then Irwin makes them, and you could buy cheapos, China ones from Harbor Freight Tools or whatever, but they're not going to hold up as good. But if you buy the good ones, you're going to spend about $40 a piece. But they are a top-notch addition, especially if you're doing this kind of stuff. So what I'm doing is stepping it up. Each side just going a little, lot of pressure, boom, boom. Let it skim a little, and it acts as a countersink too to clean up your hole a little bit. All right, so I'll finish this up now. Check. All right, that's the link there. All finished up. And what you can do with a straight piece, I can't do it with the curb piece because obviously it's got the curb on it. But you could chuck up a piece of straight bar like that, you know, if up to a 1/2 inch bar if you got a 1/2 inch drill. And you take like a 3M hand pad or some sand cloth or something. You just hold it on the end there and you spin that drill around. Run this thing back and forth a little bit over the edge. Make sure you got gloves on. And there you go. Got a nice polished finish on it, all smooth. That's it for the link, so I'm going to go pop them on the vehicle. All right, YouTubers, I got these things all fitted up, and it worked out really, really nice. So there's my SCX10. Hopefully you can see enough light here. SCX10 links that I made out of stainless steel 1/4 inch bar, round bar. And what I did was I ground the flats in them. The plastic ones were a little bit different. They were a little thicker, so I went through my kit and I found some O-rings left over from the CC01 that I popped on there for isolators in between. There's a shoulder bolt there and there was a little bit more space, so I put some O-rings to isolate everything. Had to get a longer screw to go through here. I put thread locker on everything. Everything's moving real free. You can get a view of that. Looks pretty cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the wheels on, and then I'm going to kick it with the transmitter a little bit so you can see. All right. Hopefully you can get a view of this. I just popped the servo horn off of there. You see that shiny gold piece there? I popped that off. Now the linkage is free. See how easy everything moves? I'm barely touching it, and it's slipping back and forth, which tells me that my handiwork is good. If there was binds and stuff, it'd eventually burn out the servo. And then what I'm doing now is I just set the steering trim, which is on your controller, and I put it in the middle of both fields, so either right or left. It's right in the center, which is going to start me out at 0. Then I'm going to take and line up the center of the wheels so they're relatively about as straight as I can get them. This is a tight fit here. Okay, so somewhere that's a little bit to the left, so I want to catch the next right about there. That looks about perfect. Okay, so I popped that on there. Now the wheels are straight in the center of my trim. So that gives me full adjustment either way. All right, Rich back here. I'm outside here, so it's a little windy. You're gonna hear a little bit of wind noise. But we're all set, trimmed up. Got the links all in place. Snappy, snappy, no binding. They look cool, they work cool. It cost me absolutely nothing. It was just from some scraps. So hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to rate, subscribe, and comment in no particular order. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for sticking around through the whole process. And till next time, Rich from 2RC Productions out.